Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast with Deacons. This is Deacon Derek Walcott. I heard you all had a wonderful time last week, Thursday, with my other two brothers, Deacon Simon and Deacon Tristram Matura. Well, you got Uncle Derek back. So it's great to be here. I had a wonderful retreat in Tobago with the St. Teresa's group. I want to especially thank Father Giro and Lisa and Michelle and Charlene. I mean, they have an incredible group of young people at St. Teresa's and they're doing wonderful things. We had a ball, we had a lime, we had a wonderful retreat. So, good morning, everybody. And before I shout out everybody on Breakfast with the Deacons, and I know that there are thousands of you looking on, especially as we are the #1 breakfast show in the morning, let us start with Breakfast with the Deacons, as we always do, with a little meditation thought from Papa Francis. Today, here's what Papa Francis leaves us with our meditation, for us to meditate on. He says, are we often weary, disheartened and sad? Do we feel weighed down by our sins? Do we think that we won't be able to cope? Let us not close our hearts. Let us not lose confidence. Let us never give up. There are no situations which God cannot change. There is no sin which he cannot forgive. If only we open ourselves to him. If only we open ourselves to him. And that's Pope Francis this morning. And it ties in so wonderfully well with today's reading. Because today's reading is from the Gospel, of John, chapter 13, verses 21 to 33 and 36 to 38. And it talks exactly about that. And here is this, we're talking about sin, we're talking about despair, and the Gospel of John. Let's read the Gospel of John this morning as we kick off this morning's show, as today is Tuesday of Holy Week. The Gospel of John, chapter 13, verses 21 to 33 goes like this. After saying this, Jesus was troubled in spirit, and he declared, very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me. The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he was speaking. One of the disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining next to him. Simon Peter, therefore, motioned to him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So while reclining next to Jesus, he asked him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, it is the one to whom I give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish. So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. After he received the piece of bread, Satan entered him. And Jesus said to him, do quickly what you are going to do. Now no one at the table knew why he said this to him. Some thought that because Judas had the common purse, Jesus was telling him, buy what we need for the festival, or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. Now, inside this gospel, we have two contrasting things here. We've got two people who betrayed Jesus. We've got Judas, and we've got Simon Peter. Now that's interesting, because the gospel reveals again the predictions of Christ about Judas's betrayal and about Peter's denial. Remember, he said, Peter, you will deny me 3 times. And we know how Judas became totally depressed and despaired. And what did he do? He hung himself. Peter, on the other hand, wept bitterly when Jesus looked at him, and Jesus looked at him tenderly. Peter wept bitterly. The difference between the two is that Peter repented, he cried, He cried, he wept bitterly, and yet he repented. On the other hand, Judas despaired. But they forgot what Jesus told them, and he had been teaching them all the time. How many times do you forgive? 70 times 7. They forgot that Jesus' whole love for all of us, and especially in this Holy Week, let's remember God's love for us. So many times we despair by our sinfulness. We think that God can never love us because of the things that we do. I'm telling you today, Deacon Derek experienced it in his own life, how much God loves us and how much he is willing to forgive us if we would just turn and come back to him. Jesus on the cross said, Father, forgive them because they really don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And this is the same kind of love that Jesus has for us. He's telling us, I love you, and I can forgive you anything. Today, that is the good news. It is the good news of our readings today that Jesus loves us. And no matter how much we despair, Papa Francis told us that in this beautiful meditation. No matter how much we despair, know that God is with us. Know that he is standing right there, willing to forgive us anything. Do not let, as we read in the gospel here, Satan enter into us. Because Satan does not want you to believe that Jesus can forgive you anything. Today, as we begin Holy Week, I've challenged all the readers of my blog. I've challenged them to choose one person this week, one person in the Gospels, journeying with Jesus in this week. Today, I'm choosing Judas. Who are you choosing? Choose someone and journey with that person in this beautiful Holy Week. Now, I'm leaving that with you as a meditation for this week. But let's get on with the show. So, as normal, more and more people have been calling Uncle Derek and telling them, I am watching Breakfast with Deacons. So let's shout out. And yesterday at the Chrism Mass, yesterday at the Chrism Mass, we had Father Bunty. And Father Bunty says, Derek, I watch Breakfast with Deacons. And sometimes I'm not sure if I could get up, run and get something quick to eat and run back because the show is so short. You have to make this show longer. Father Bunty, have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching Breakfast with Deacons. And let's big up everybody else. We've got Lynette Ordain from the Cathedral. She says she watches Breakfast with Deacons. Lisa from the Sanctuary. Hi, Lisa. I love you. And we're talking about Deanne Tyler Best, Sandra Headley, Rosalind Grant. And she wants to get married too. So, Rosalind, I'm praying for you that you find a wonderful young Christian man. And Uncle Derek is going to form Singles for Christ. All those who want to get married, we're going to form Singles for Christ and have a nice meeting of beautiful people for Christ. Susan Winters from Dabadi. Christine St. Louis, same thing. Monica Seeley from Monrepo, Beryl Pear and Dorothy Bishop, my girls, Robin and Charlene from Monrepo, Lisa Wickham and Gabby Branch. Gabby, we had a wonderful time in Tobago. And who we have here again? We have Elizabeth Salvador from Coquier, Margarita Chapman. Auntie Margarita, I am coming for my sweetbread. Now, sweetbread is Uncle Derek's weakness. If anybody has sweetbread outside here, send some sweetbread for Uncle Derek. You can send it to Living Water Community. I'll collect it. I just love sweetbread. Two things I love, sweetbread and fish broth. Right. Now, we're talking about Bernadette Ross from Pity Valley. Thank you for looking on Bernadette. I get your emails. I get your texts. We're talking about Ruth Angela Liverpool Roberts, Marina Butts from Diego Martin. Marina, I know that you're in Canada, but you're looking on right now on the internet. So those who don't have Channel 10 from Flow, you can always go on the internet and look at Trinity TV. Trinity TV is the #1 television station in the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. We give you all good news. We tell you what's happening. And we have a big happening coming in the next couple of days. It is the canonization of two incredible popes, John the 23rd and we Pope, John Paul II. So let's see who we have again. We're talking about Veronica from Santa Cruz, Judy Ford from Tunapuna, Glenda Sobers from Couva, Patricia Joseph from Couva, Inez from San Fernando, Petra Francis Chang, I want to get this name right, from Union Hall in San Fernando, Anne-Marie Moore, Rabathali. I got that one right. This morning I pronounced it well. There's so many people here, I can't even remember everybody. Joan Clifford, Helen Khan, Villia from Laissez-Faire, Allison and Roger from St. Joseph. Allison, is your husband home? And normally I know he likes to watch his Breakfast with Deacons and then run away, right? Simon from Shagwana, Sai, I need you on Breakfast with the Deacons. Today I have two guests who are going to be joining me. Hopefully, it looks like they're a little late on their way coming in, but I don't know where they are. But at this time of the month, we don't have any traffic, so I don't know what's happening with my guests this morning. Anyway, we have Allison from New Grant, Thelma from San Fernando, Yolanda Kazo from Philippines, and Henry Harper. And Henry Harper wants me to do something for him, and Errol Lewis from Erin. And listen to me, Louise Patterson, she wants to get some prayer cards, for Archbishop Anthony Pantin, and I just want to say something about this. Archbishop Anthony Pantin, the late Archbishop Anthony Pantin, our beloved Archbishop Anthony Pantin, we have a prayer card that is circulating throughout the Archdiocese of Port of Spain. Have you been praying? Have you been praying that this wonderful man who was a true saint, would be canonized, that we could actually, forward his intention to Rome? Right now we're gathering information on the life and times of Archbishop Anthony Pantin, a truly beloved man of the soil, so that he could be our first saint in the Caribbean. But to do this also requires prayer. How important is this for you? Prayer, and us praying for this intention would be very wonderful. It would show that we truly believe in this intention. I want to encourage everybody watching Breakfast with Deacons, especially as we are journeying through Holy Week. Let us lift up our beloved Archbishop. Let us lift him up every single day so that he could be on with us. Now let me see, I just got a little note here. Oh my goodness, my guests who are supposed to be on the show this morning, it looks they're coming. It looks like they're a little bit late. I'm seeing we have a little challenge with them, but that's all right. You have your Uncle Derek, and we are going to go on with Breakfast with Deacons. I want to talk about Holy Week this week. I want to talk about Lent and the pillars of Lent that we are talking about: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. How faithful have you been to those three pillars of Lent? To prayer. Has your prayer life improved? What about what about almsgiving? What about fasting? Now, we really only have one more fast day to go, and that's Good Friday. I want to encourage all of you who did not fast for this beautiful season of Lent. Let us remember Good Friday. I want to encourage you guys. Fast for Good Friday from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Try and attend the services. Most people say, well, I just need to probably go stations at the cross. No, we really have services on Good Friday. We don't have Holy Mass on Good Friday, but we have a service. I want to encourage everybody, join your parishes as you do Stations of the Cross. Take your children. It is part of our Catholic culture and identity. And it is critical if we want to regenerate the moral and spiritual values of our nation. That's our third pastoral priority. And while I am here, I am plugging to all the priests looking on and administrators and heads of the various religious bodies. You all were supposed to send in your third pastoral priority plan. And that was supposed to be in on the 31st of January. If you have not done it, please send it in. Send it in to synodit@gmail.com or send it into the chancery. We need to get it. We need to make a presentation. We need to begin our third pastoral priority, which is regenerating our moral and spiritual values. And I just want to read something here from Papa Francis, because Papa Francis has been talking a lot about the family. And if we want to regenerate the moral and spiritual values of our country, we have to start with families. And here's what he says. Again, I want you all to remember, Breakfast with Deacons is about good news. And Papa Francis says this: on a positive note, we must reaffirm the right of children to grow up in a family with a father and a mother capable of creating a suitable environment for the child's development and emotional maturity. It is essential. It is essential. Now, I know that we have single parents, okay? And single parents are doing tremendous jobs, bringing up their families. But I want to ask, that fathers, you fathers who are not together with your wives, please go and spend time with your children. Your children need you. Mothers, your children need you. Papa Francis is reaffirming that mothers and fathers are very important in the bringing up of children. Jesus came into the world, and he didn't drop into the world just by that. He came into a family with a father and mother. Very important for the stability of the child. Very important for the child to grow up balanced, where they will both get a father and mother to give them, their attributes, their personalities, their morals and standings, how they look at life. It is critical. You young people looking on outside there, you mothers and fathers looking on outside there, pray that your children would heed the call of Pope Francis, and let us too become better parents. I want to make a plug for parents today, and that is the good news. The Papa Francis is reaffirming families with daddies and mummies. And if our families didn't grow up with daddies and mummies, let's make sure that at least our children's families, when they grow up, they have daddies and mummies. That our children go to church. That we take them to church. We just don't send them to church. Today, the motto on the St. Teresa's youth group jerseys was, friends that pray together, stay together. I want to plug that for families that pray together, stay together. I remember I had a young lady who was visiting me one day, and I noticed that I wasn't seeing her family anymore. Normally, I would see daddy, mommy, and the whole shebang of children. They used to take about a whole pew. You know what I mean? Daddy and mommy, about 5 children used to be in one pew. And I noticed something happening, As time grew by, I noticed only mommy was coming to church. So one day I approached mommy. I said, Mom, what's the challenge? I said, where's your husband? Where are the children? He said, well, they don't come to church anymore, Uncle Derek. I said, well, how come they don't come to church anymore? I said, I remember all the kids, they used to come to church. Some were even altar servers. How come they don't come to church? She said, Uncle Derek, I really don't know what the problem is. I said, well, okay, let's sit down and look at what happened. What happened in this family life? And as we were sitting down and journeying through her family life, it hit her. She said, I remember. I said, when? She said, when the children reached secondary school age, we stopped praying together as a family. I said, well, what caused that? She said, well, everybody had their different activities. Some had extra lessons. Some had football practice. Some had things. My husband was working late. I said, and what happened? Well, we couldn't meet together at the same time to have family prayer. Family prayer. The secret of keeping families together. Today, as we have just a short show because my guest couldn't come out today, I just want to thank you all for watching on at Breakfast with Deacons. See you on Thursday, Holy Thursday, where we'll have a bigger show. And for everybody outside there, I want you all to pick a character. Pick a character in the gospel and journey with that character this week in Holy Week. This is Uncle Derek saying, have a wonderful week. Breakfast with Deacons. See you all on Thursday. Bye. Wait, hold on a minute. You mean to say have a longer time? They're saying that have a longer time. I don't know what's going on with Breakfast with Deacons, but that's the good news. You all will have to get Uncle Derek for a longer period. But let me just finish up a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here this morning. I wanted to talk about something here that was critical because I don't want anybody to forget me. Lorraine Pouchette. And we talked about, a couple of weeks ago, I had Lorraine Pouchet on Breakfast with Deacons, and we talked about OPT, Original Pain Therapy. And I want to make a plug here for Auntie Barbara Salazar, Uncle Jose, if you all are listening. We have what we call marriage preparation. And I want to say that, the church has so much to offer. Billings is going on. We're having a teaching of Billings, and I'm going to have, you remember that I had Susan Henry on with one of her friends. They're going to be on again. We're going to do a whole program on just the Billings ovulation method. I think Billings, I think OPT1, I think Theology of the Body should all form part of the marriage preparation course. I really believe that. So you're hearing Uncle Derek plugging that to be part of the marriage preparation course. That every one of the marriage couples should do a whole course in Billings, a whole course in Theology of the Body, and a whole course in OPT, original pain therapy. Those are critical foundations, I think, for marriage, other than courting, you know. So it is important. And I want us to try and run this through, that all marriages have that platform. Many times people come and they say, Uncle Derek, we want to get married. I say, great. Have you all done a marriage preparation course? No, Uncle Derek, but we set the date. I say, how many you set the date? You set the date before the marriage preparation course? Yes. I say, don't set the date before the marriage preparation course. Go to the marriage preparation course first, then set the date. Why? Because at the marriage preparation course, you know what? You get an idea of the kind of personalities that you have. You know, you want to be evenly yoked. I want you all to choose a husband, choose a wife, you know. Choose a wife. You know, that you all will be evenly yoked, and you all will be able to journey through marriage well. Marriage preparation. Theology of the body. Aha. So I hope these are the boys trying to call me and tell me that they're going to be here. Alison from New Grant. Alison from New Grant is now calling me. Good to hear you, Ali. You know, she is on. Yes. So, again, Breakfast with Deacons, marriage preparation, looking for you all, you know, to joining me on Thursday when we're going to have a bomb of a show. Have a holy week. See you all on Good Friday. God bless you all. Breakfast with Deacons, the #1 breakfast show in the morning. Be gone. Bye.